You're tuned in to Death Metal Chronicles, episode number 8. This episode is going to be your comments, some of the different things that have been going on this week. I was trying to get a video out by this Friday night, but it just didn't happen. All of our technical difficulties with recording and microphones not liking us, and audio just being bad and video just not working. So I said, screw it, I'm just going to do an audio show for Friday, which is now for Saturday due to all the technical difficulties, and so here's the show. So I've been listening to a lot of different people's comments this week. I've been trying to gauge, what people kind of have on their minds, whether you're from special forces background, or a tech guy, or what your background is, kind of gaining all those different insights and putting them into one show. And here is some of your guys' thoughts. So for a new segment that I want to call the Unsung Heroes of War, which I want to specialize featuring comments from gentlemen who were SF guys or contractors, people who don't normally get to speak out, who aren't exactly regular dudes sometimes in their work. From a friend, his thoughts of this week are the Democrat versus Republicans cheerleading that my party can do no wrong, your party is all bad, and when both parties are full of crooks, the independent and third party viability, classical liberalism versus progressivism, believing in a wide-reaching individual liberty versus the ever-increasing government dependence and overreach into our lives. Ideas on human nature. And we love to fight over shit. An interesting comment also from my SF friend is, I guarantee you right now that there are probably 400 or more low-grade shooting conflicts going on at this very moment. Africa, Asia, Middle East, Central, and South America that SF is involved in. So kind of let that simmer. Let it kind of come to the formation of your mind of what you think America may be at war at, or where you think your enemy may be. There's 400 plus low-grade issues that are going on. Let that simmer. So posted from on the contractor side of the Unsung Heroes of War side of things, Pharrell Jundi has a blog of his own, and he kind of focuses, their main website, there's multiple different writers and contributors to their website. You can reach them at FERALJUNDI, Pharrell Jundi. And the basic premise is basically following contractors, following special forces, putting all that information into one coherent blog of information to give you a greater understanding of who contractors really are and what they're not. His latest post is George Washington on starting his own private military security company to combat the British. Here is a quote. Mr. President, I am a soldier and I believe in being prepared. For that and other reasons, I will give my vote for the resolutions of the gentleman from Hanover, rather than submit to the present condition of things. I will raise 1,000 men, subsist them at my own expense, and march myself at their head to the relief of Boston. George Washington. A couple of words from Pharrell Jundi is, this is a really cool quote in American history. You don't hear much about it. Obviously, Washington did not have to raise an army in this fashion, but it's interesting that he put it out there and that he was willing to finance such an army if no one was going to act. He was talking. Matt goes on to say, what is interesting is that George Washington was very familiar with the concept of privatized warfare from his experience fighting with the 60th Royal American Mercenary Regiment, the RAMR, 60th, or 60th RAR, during the French and Indian War, and he was also a champion of actually paying soldiers, as opposed to conscripting them, which they normally did, purely out of love for their country. Washington found out that a volunteer militia, it's a little hard to keep guys focused on when they can't come home to make money or to grow food to support their family. Paying a salary keeps their heads in the game and helped reduce attrition. So this is a very interesting post by Matt. I'm really happy that he put it out there. There's also a photo of George Washington in his colonel's uniform, acting as a privateer, private soldier, wearing his colonial garb of all things colonization. Also annotated is another post from swissinfo.ch from Marie-Christine Masson in Pittsburgh. A Swiss soldier in the service of the British king defeated the French to open up the way to conquest of the American West. I think her title is A Swiss Mercenary Who Served Britain in America. In 1756, Henry Bouquet, a colonel from western Switzerland, commanded the 60th British Regiment, also called the Royal Americans, which essentially made up the German, Dutch, Swiss mercenaries, recruited to help in the colonization of America. Quote, Bouquet has played an important part in shaping Pennsylvania and the push towards the West. Conrad Ostertag, standing on the corner of Bosquet Street in Pittsburgh, told Swiss Info. He's one of the founders of Pittsburgh, and he removed the French from what would become Fort Pitt, and he routed the Indians away so that he opened up the West to the British, explained Ostertag, an active member of the local Swiss American community. And, they go on and talk about the different history of the Swiss, Dutch, German mercenaries who were just citizen soldiers, who were just people, and they got paid money, and they came out, whatever good or bad. These are the people who founded America. They were not soldiers. They were not fighting for a specific government. They came to get stuff done, and they got paid money to do it. So, yeah, definitely take a look at that. I really enjoyed it. It was a really good piece. I'm glad that Matt found it, and something that, putting it out there, that it isn't necessarily true that you have to have a conscripted or even supposedly volunteer military like we have in America. The volunteer military isn't necessarily a volunteer military these days. With the unemployment rate so high in specific places in America, probably targeted recruiting to get specific types of gentlemen into positions. And also I see the dangers of the now created laws that will allow women in infantry roles, which in a way paves the way for conscription of all of society. So if a woman can do it, you can do it. And, we have to fight the Chinese now, so do your part and get ready to go fight the Chinese. I would actually like some input from my friend from Switzerland. I like him to comment on his military. I'm kind of confused about their whole situation as a conscripted military, although they stay there. I did hear that they were in Afghanistan and possibly Iraq. I'm not too familiar with their deployments and what they've done, But obviously, a conscripted military is just wrong on all levels, even if you never fight anybody. Just the conscription of your labor beyond your will is just wrong, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. So that's this segment on unsung heroes of war. If you're a contractor, you're an SF guy, and you want to have your comments in the your ideas, thoughts, whatever it could be on anything. Your favorite beer, like right now, I'm drinking the Dead Guy Rogue Oregon Brewed beer. This is fantastic. You got a favorite beer, you're embracing the suck, and you want to talk about it? Throw it in the comments, or send me a private message on Facebook. I really want to hear from you guys as well. The show is really about you. It has barely anything to do with me. And especially for the new segment, Unsung Heroes of War. An article that I had found on ARS Technica. I am really, really, really excited for this new piece of hardware. I need to find it. It is a smaller device that you can use as a new way of computing. It's a very small device. It's probably the size smaller than a tablet. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. I had to find the article on ARS Technica. It just kind of disappeared from its home. But Intel's mini PC gets less mini, but will hold more storage. The NUC version of the NUC is a 2.5-inch hard disk or SSD. It includes USB 3.0, which is very, very important. It's got its own infrared. Fantastic. Mini display port for audio out, which is highly important. I really like the dimensions of it. What it really means is, since it's essentially the size of a 2.5 terabyte drive, it's 2.5 inches, has 9.5 millimeters in height. The vast majority of hard drives and solid-state drives being currently are 9.5 or 7.55. Though larger than the 1.5 or 2 terabyte drives, the 15 millimeter in height won't fit through modifying the case and voiding your warranty. So their idea was to make a bigger one. You put in your own, I guess you're putting in your own, or you're going to purchase it directly from them. I really like the idea of having a small device that has some decent processing power, that you absolutely do not need to have some ginormous processor in there to do normal everyday things. I would like something so cheap that I can just have it in my kitchen. I can just go down to my kitchen and I can watch a YouTube video while I'm making food. Something simple. It doesn't, need to be giant. It doesn't need to be small, but kind of in the middle, and to be able to replace maybe a all-in-one computer. Those things are just so big sometimes, and they're really obtrusive. My friend has one, and he mounted his on a countertop. Kind of fastened it, drilled some holes into the wood, and I really like his idea. But my problem is every single time you were using it, you'd almost like knock it off if you're like typing with it, because obviously you're just like standing there next to the side rail thing that it was on, and it would just fall off every now and then. If friends didn't notice it, or like then one of the dogs came through, whatever, knocked somebody over, it would knock over your computer and you almost kill the thing. So I like the idea of having a small, very tiny, this thing's only, the size of a 2 terabyte drive, and you're able to have that. And I would just mount it directly on the back of a freaking monitor, run all the power cables and all that onto it, use some zip ties, zip tie all the cables together, so it's nice and clean, and just put it, where you want it, and have it there entirely. And all you'd have to do is just have, since it has native infrared, you can get any infrared, as long as Linux at least, you can get any infrared keyboard. I have a tiny, has something, I'll put it into the show notes, little tiny keyboard that has its own touchpad on it, and I use that for my computer so that I can watch movies and things like that. So it's a basic media center, and I like that idea, because all you would have to do is just type into something. If you're far away, you forget how many cups are in an ounce, or I don't know, something like that, and you just search it real quick and bam, get it done while you're still cooking and doing what you need to do, and it creates some connectivity and fluidity of what you're thinking about. As well, the ramifications for businesses, if you don't really need major processing power to read email and to read any of your documentation that you have that you're putting forth, or terminal stuff, any terminal-based things. Maybe it's just a new sort of media server. Maybe you want to run a Plex server in your house. So Plex, basically, if you're not familiar with it, Plex is a service which allows you to host it as a service on the server, basically a big giant computer, or even a small computer, but a basic server that allows you to gain the information from the big computer and give it to your small devices. Well, this also has a GUI, so you can see it just like you would see YouTube while you're on. It gives you all little boxes and all things. It looks flashy and nice, and if you have locally stored stuff on your hard drive, it'll just see it on your hard drive and gather it, and you can see it, and it'll pick up all the information. So if you wanted to, it'll have all of the background information, all of the show names, all the artists, even the background music. So while you're scanning through the actual seasons of a show, it'll actually play the show song within the seasons. It's actually really cool. Nothing else that I know of can possibly even do that at all. I'm really impressed with it. So this is kind of what you can do with it. So you can use it for work, and you could just have this NUC as something, the next unit of computing, NUK from Intel. This really will make a big difference. And I would even say you could put this into a car, and if you run a script off of your OBD2 port, so I'm not sure if this thing will support Bluetooth with Windows, but most likely with Linux it'll be able to support Bluetooth. You would be able to run a Bluetooth OBD2 sensor, and that would go directly to your OBD2 port of your car, and then you would utilize the NUC and then have the NUC inside your car with a monitor, and the NUC can come with Android, or it can come, you could put any operating system on it. I would put Android, and then you could run Torque Pro, and Torque Pro is the application that will actually run off your OBD2 Bluetooth sensor, and that will read your codes of your car at the same time while you're driving. So you can get real-time information while you're driving and change it. So if you're seeing that, anything's going wrong, you could see it in real time, change it, see your gas mileage, or anything like that. For Subaru, somebody actually wrote a script for Raspberry Pi, and I would assume that you could probably run the same script off of this NUC, and you'd be able to run the script for the OBD2, run that directly to the NUC computer, then watch it on the monitor and be able to see in real time. Well, the script this guy wrote for my Subaru will actually be able to see in real time each line that the computer is actually processing of your car. That's the ramifications of this. A very hardcore computer that can get stuff done. You hook that up to some decent internet, and if you're in the field of diagnostics for vehicles, you won't be tied down to big, giant hardware. This is something you can put in a backpack or a little tiny thing and get stuff done. So that's the NUC. I found that at ARS Technica. I've actually never seen it in person, but I'm fairly impressed. This one's got a 1.5 gigahertz processor from Intel, and with how open it is, you just break it open, and if the motherboard supports it, you just take out that chip, put in something more beastly, and do whatever you want. I mean, this is a very, very, very capable machine that can really, really change the way we view computers, that you have the option of using something very hardcore, like an i5, which can do a lot of things, or utilizing even a Raspberry Pi in conjunction with this. So, yeah, something a little bit new that I saw that it really impressed me. I'd really like to get it in person, be able to review it for all you guys out there. Reviewing stuff has always been really fun for me. I've always enjoyed it. So I thought what would be interesting for this show would be to actually go on Wikipedia. Something simple. I searched Global War on Terror, GWAT, for all you GWATers out there. All of us who've been to Afghanistan, or even other places that may not be talked about. So kind of go over the dates. I think it's really interesting. I never really knew the exact date. It's the 7th of October, 2001, according to Wikipedia, although operations were for certain going on before that. But as of today, 12 years and 4 months. 12 years and 4 months ago, I think I don't know. I was in elementary school? Intermediate school? Something like that. Kind of breaks my head thinking about it. Yeah, I was in middle school. Had to think about it. So the status: war in Afghanistan, 2001 present. The fall of the Taliban government in Afghanistan. The destruction of Al-Qaeda. I say like George Bush, Al-Qaeda. Because obviously he's a native Texan who was raised and born in Pennsylvania. Al-Qaeda, 1988 to the present. Ideology: Sunni Islam, Islamic fundamentalism, Takfirism, Pan-Islamism, worldwide caliphate, Kubitism, Wahhabism, Salafist jihadism. Interesting that they only listed 2 leaders, which are Osama bin Laden and Ayman al-Zawahiri, who's still alive. That's interesting. I figured he'd be taken care of by now. His whole name is Ayman Muhammad Rabi al-Zawahiri. Born in 51. Egyptian physician. Islamic theologian. Current leader of the militant Islamist organization Al-Qaeda. Is a former member of the Islamist organizations, which have both orchestrated and carried out multiple attacks on the continents of North America, Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. In 2012, he called on fellow Muslims to kidnap Western tourists in Muslim countries. Since 2011 attacks, the U.S. State Department has offered $25 million reward for information leading to al-Zawahiri's apprehension. $25 million! Hey there, contractor buddies and SF friends from the Unsung Heroes of War. Yeah, $25 million. Let's call up. Oh yeah, today I was driving, and I saw someone's bumper sticker. Are you ready for Hillary Clinton 2016? Oh yeah, I definitely want to have her as president. I'd love to have a woman as president. You know, a woman libertarian lady who, you know, liberates things and all that stuff. but not someone who's just gonna, go with the status quo. I'm not exactly a big fan of that. It's not a good plan. Interesting. Al-Qaeda around the world. UK, Belgium, Germany, Italy, Spain, France, Morocco, Algeria, Manchuria, Mali, Niger, Uganda, Kenya, Somalia, Tanzania, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Philippines, Indonesia. You know who comes from Indonesia? He's probably a terrorist too. Oh yeah, and that place called Niger had yellow cake uranium supposedly, and then sold that to Osama bin Laden, or no, was that Saddam? Who knows? Yeah. Take a look at Valerie Plume, is what I'm alluding to, is Valerie Plume Wilson, who was outed by the CIA, and she was an active CIA person. She did her work. I actually been watching a lot of her YouTube videos. She's doing a lot of public speaking these days. She has a couple of new books that have come out. I'm really impressed with what she is really doing. I mean, she is able to talk about geopolitics in a way that most people... Oh, cool, she has a website. Most people are not able to talk about. Her website is VALERIEPLAME Wilson. So Valerie Plame Wilson. Her new book is called Blowback. I'm certainly not, getting paid by her. She doesn't even know me. She's in the Witness Protection Agency and lives in New Mexico, supposedly. in the woods, for all you tech syndicate people out there. Lives in the woods. She's someone who is just fighting the good fight for peace. I mean, I'm constantly watching videos for different appearances. She's going to a bunch of different types of places, just talking about how you can be working on a specific project, taking care of things, doing your job as someone who is not allowed to speak out, not allowed to talk in public about your work, not allowed to make public appearances with your face, not allowed to even use your own real name in public. And her government, United States government, outed her for political gain to go into Iraq because her husband, Mr. Wilson, spoke negatively about the president, George W. Bush, and how he was trying to push a war to go to Iraq at the time under false pretenses. Now, whatever the pretenses were that are classified that we don't know, or things that are outside of the yellow cake uranium and the concepts and ideas that Mr. Wilson knew of as an ambassador, those things were not true. Mr. Wilson was there, he did his job, he was getting paid by the U.S. government, and he did what he was told to do and what he was paid to do. And also, as an American citizen, he did exactly what he was supposed to do and spoke out against it. They were, pushing... Now, we don't know the classified things, or maybe some of us do, and we're not allowed to talk about it, but we don't know the classified details of maybe what was going on in Iraq, that they were maybe trying to obtain chemical agents to start a war, to fight America. Although I'm not exactly sure how you would possibly be able to do that, but our global reach was even so far, even at that time, and we'd had countless of wars even before that, in that same area, with Saddam agitating him, putting sanctions against his government, things like that. So, I mean, politically, he was already in a corner. So, and that's exactly what, Valerie Plume and all them said. So that's Plame, that's all their thing. If you want to check that out, you can go on Valerie Plain Wilson's website. Yeah, she's got a new book. She's doing different publications. She's on YouTube a lot, so if you don't really want to read her book, go on the YouTubes and check her out. She really impresses me. She is someone who deserves a Nobel Peace Prize, if she doesn't already have one. I think she was by Sweden or Switzerland. I think she was actually going to get nominated, so hopefully she gets it. Promoting peace is always a good thing. Her latest article on her website is the NSA metastasized intelligence industrial complex is ripe for abuse. I'm not talking about that. Nope, not going to happen. But you can go on there on her website and you can read about all that stuff. And she's kind of pretty, so it's a nice face to look at. Today I featured a band called Angel Vivaldi. I found out about Angel Vivaldi through a friend. He told me about how he was just completely enamored with their music. He's like, dude, you have to check this out. You would love this. It is awesome. And I was blown away. The first start and hopefully the ending of the show will actually have that. I'm not listening to it now as we speak. It's difficult for editing. But you can go to Angel, ANGEL, VIVALDI.bigcartel.com. I'll put that in the show notes. And you can go there and purchase their new music. They actually have a new album that will be coming out. It's on pre-order right now. The new album is going to be called Away with Words Part 1. All pre-ordered copies will be signed by Angel. He's a dude. He's got his face up there. And you can go on YouTube and see him wield the guitar. In my opinion, he takes the concept of classical music and puts it into metal beauty. I have never seen anyone be as innovative with math rock or math metal in the way that he does it, where you cannot just shred the entire time and do a lot of chugs to fake the funk and how bad you're playing. Angel Vivaldi is able to play guitar in a way that goes around the norm, and it's either you make a good chord, you make a good progression, or you fail. And it's fine to fail or fine to make, silly music or fun stuff, whatever. But and his stuff is obvious. He's very fun. But it's very professional. And professional in the sense that, if someone wanted to have an orchestra play his music, it will sound beautiful. And I kind of described his music to a friend that, as a guy who goes to bad places, I definitely like to listen to his music while driving down the wrong way in a Middle Eastern country while someone's blasting 50 cal rounds around you. It's pretty it just gives you so much energy. And actually I was able to run at 9.3 miles per hour doing my sprints the other day while listening to Angel Vivaldi, so I hope you guys enjoy that. Definitely get his music. He's got it on Amazon and on YouTube and iTunes. Their older album, which is what I've been listening to lately, is The Speed of Dark. I'm just enamored with how fast and how it's just amazing that they play. It just boggles my mind sometimes of the way that you can do just different things within music that kind of define really what you will like. A Universal Language is what I've been listening to with Manchurian Summer. I'm probably saying that wrong. But yeah, it's Angel Vivaldi. And he's a real guy. So, you add him on Facebook. That's how I got in contact with him. He's a professional artist. he has a regular job like all the rest of us, and he's making awesome music, and totally support him. I'm not exactly sure if he's signed or not. Hopefully YouTube won't take me down, but he told me that I can play his music, so YouTube can kiss it. I really am kind of irritated with YouTube lately. Me trying to promote different artists, they've kind of, did their whole copyright thing, which I understand. And artists need to be aware that they should not have copyright. They should always have their music in Creative Commons, because if people want to buy your music, they're going to buy your music. If they don't want to buy your music, they're going to download it off of torrents, and you probably should just, put it on a torrent yourself, and then, add a Bandcamp or add a PayPal thing to it. Like, someone can just donate to your fund. Most likely that's the way this show will be going, because I'm still not monetized, and I may not even ever monetize. I think it really stops you from being innovative when you're beholden to Warner Brothers or whoever else that's going to dictate where your music goes and what kind of music that you will create. That's just the opposite. And for this show specifically, we talk about things that maybe Warner Brothers or whoever doesn't want us to talk about. Some people don't want to hear about contractor stuff, or some people don't want to hear that gay people should be married. But you know what? We're all different people. We all have different views. So, yeah. I want to thank all the people who have subscribed. I have a couple subscribers so far. If you've enjoyed the show, or even if you hate it, please subscribe to me and then thumb me down if you don't like me. At least give me a like, or and please subscribe as well, because you support the rest of us and get more of the ideas out. And if your comments have been featured here, please leave even more comments on the videos. It would really help get ideas out there. Make a fake YouTube account and put up your comments if you want. I don't care. We want your comments out there. If you're not really allowed to speak with your own name and be out in the open, make a fake profile, put up your information out there. Comments, and ideas that you want people to know about. Maybe it's something different that we haven't talked about, or maybe it's something that goes with the conversation. So I want to thank all the viewers out there. Thank you for subscribing, the 3 of you. Please, anyone who actually has listened to it, subscribe, like. This has been Death Metal Chronicles, episode number 8, a Swiss mercenary who served Britain in America.